What is going on, mi gente? Let's go. Happy Tuesday. It is your girl, Idylli. It is Tuesday, 8 p.m. EST. Do you know where your kids are? No. Yo, I heard somebody say that earlier this week and it made me crack up because I remember that commercial. Like they had to remind us that the streetlights were on and if we were inside, right? Because that's how much we were outside. They had to remind us, like, yo, are your kids at home? Do you know where your kids are? But anyways, it is 8 p.m. EST, and you guys are here on the Speak Easy with Idylli show. I'm super excited, humbled, honored, grateful that you guys come on here every single week and you show your love, you support, you share, you like, you comment the DMs. Man, I am so honored. I mean, you guys, this is crazy, the time frame that we're going on here, and we are still rocking. And every single week we have such amazing guests, and I'm so grateful and honored. And there's really not a lot of announcements this week. We're coming to the ends of August. September 1st is literally the fourth quarter of the year. I mean, mi gente, 2025 is in a blink of an eye. Like I promise, right? Is I Dream a Genie, blink of an eye. We're literally going to be into 2025. And so my only announcement is time is happening. Time is happening for you, whether you like it or not. So you might as well just make the best of it. Okay. So I'm super excited for tonight, you guys. We have a special guest. Shout out to all my people, of course, watching on Instagram as well. Let's grow, let's get it, and YouTube. I know YouTube's like the redheaded stepchild. I never even say anything about YouTube, so my bad. I love y'all too. Thank you for watching. Let's grow, let's get it. But I'm excited. I'm really excited for today, you guys. I have a special guest who, you know, we have met recently. It's been about a year now. And ever since we've met, it was always like this thing, right? And so it's one of those things that you feel like you've known people for like a long time, but you really haven't, right? And she's an incredible leader. She's an entrepreneur. She's a, you know, network marketer. She's a encourager, inspire, a mom, a recent wife. And we're going to talk about that. Right. But more than that, she's just a woman who has a big heart, who's been through some things, but didn't let that hold her back. And she decided that she was going to go all in the Lord and all in her life. And I'm super honored and thankful that she is here. Miss Stephanie Miranda, did you make it?
Hey! Oh, it's so fun to hear my new last name.
I know. I was just about to say that. I'm like, did you just realize? Did you just hear that? Like Miranda. I'm like,
And you know, my middle name's Maria, so it was always meant to be.
for real. Stephanie Maria Miranda. Girl, you sound like you straight from the island.
That's right. That's right. I'm brown inside.
Now when you say Stephanie, you got to say Estefany, because that's how they say it in Spanish. Estefany.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here with us today.
Thank you so much. And also just like super humbled to be here. And as you were saying that, you know, God doesn't make mistakes when he brings people together, and just it's so cool to see like how we first met like on Zoom, right? And then like how our friendship has transpired, and just, you know, getting to know you better, having you be by my side and cheering me on. And I just thank you for that. You're a real one.
Oh, thank you. I love that so much. I appreciate that so much. So I'm excited. So as you know, you're a guest here, and I know you've seen shows before. So we're gonna start from the beginning. Like, you tell us, where were you born? Are you born and raised in Tampa? Do you have brothers and sisters? What does that look like?
Okay, so I am born and raised in Madison, Wisconsin. I was there for 31 years. I have a brother and sister. My sister's 8 years younger. My brother's 10 years younger, but we are like this. Like, we have always been super duper close. We all have boys. So I have one boy. My brother has one boy. My sister has two boys. So we just.
Wow, I didn't know that part. So no girls.
No girls, all boys. Yep. Jay's got one boy, right? Now we have bunch of boys over here, which I love. I'm a boy, you know.
Right. Maybe it'll be in the grandbaby section.
Yeah, exactly.
Girls are coming.
Yeah. And then I actually lived in Virginia for 10 years. And I've been here now for just over 3 years.
Okay, okay. And so that's a big difference between Virginia and here and the weather. Like you grew up 30 years digging snow, early morning. I'm sure
Yeah.
you're loving that difference here.
Oh yeah, I mean, I hate the cold. So like, even my mom would be like, "Can you please come home to Wisconsin?" And I'm like, for the Christmas or whatever, and I'm like, "No, y'all can stay here." I mean, even isn't it funny? Like, I guess when people have been here forever, but once it's under like 80 degrees, I'm like, "Oh, look, I have a sweatshirt on." Like,
Yeah. Oh
it's
no. Yo,
84 degrees outside.
listen, this is gonna go a little bit off topic, but how about these kids wearing 90 degrees and they're wearing hoodies?
Oh, I know.
I don't know how that became a
Well,
thing.
maybe because it's cold in the school. I
That
can't
I
even go to
understand.
the grocery
I put
store.
my son's sweater in his backpack so
Yep.
when he gets to class. But when you're standing in the bus stop, it's 90-degree weather, and you're a teenager.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it was the opposite back home. So like in the wintertime when it's freezing, you would see the kids at the bus stop in the shorts.
Not wearing a jacket with
So,
their hands inside their shirt.
yeah, yeah.
Right, right. That's so funny. I love that. That's so funny. So you grew up in Wisconsin, 30 years. That's a long time. Is that a smaller part of Wisconsin, or is it like a big, big
Madison's
city?
college town. That's the UW, the Badgers. So Big Ten, go Big Ten.
Yeah, okay, okay. I love that. And so how was that growing up there? Did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I had a really awesome childhood upbringing. My parents were divorced when I was young. My stepdad came into my life when I was 3. But I had huge family, and all of my family was, amazing, very supportive. It gave a really good representation of like why my morals are what they are. You know what I mean?
I love that. And I know you've talked about them and how much you miss them. And so I know that, sometimes, it's hard, right?
It's hard. It's hard raising your kids. My sister and my nephews are actually in Atlanta. My brother and my other nephew are in Texas. And then, my parents are in Wisconsin. So it's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys grew up.
Cousins and everything.
Yes, I was just gonna say that you grew up, here in 30, which are your cousins, and then everything just changed. And I think it's not only you guys. I want to say it's this generation. It's just not the same. Like I grew up the same way. Like all my cousins, we lived together, like sleeping at the foot of the bed. Like our cousins were our best friends, and now it's just not like that. It's just times have changed, and it's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's hard. We're like, we're forever like daily on, FaceTime or whatever. So we're still very, very close, but we try to get together as often as we can. I was very lucky. I had all of them at my home about 2 years ago for like literally 3 weeks, which was
That's
awesome.
juicy. Yeah, that's so juicy.
So hopefully next summer.
You definitely cherish those moments more, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I got some people over here talking about let's go Virginia. Then I got go Badgers, so they know what you're talking about.
Let's go. Yeah,
yep, so people got it. They know exactly what you are talking about here. And so let's go. So what brought you here to Florida?
Our governor.
Okay.
The warm weather, freedom.
Right. Did you move like because of like the COVID and everything that was happening?
Yes. So I had to homeschool AJ for first grade. I knew they were gonna like not go back to school then the next year, and they were requiring the masks and the things, and I was like, I'm not doing that. So yeah, so that was a big thing. I think I always knew that I was gonna come to Florida. I love it down here. Again, I love the weather and all of the things. But that's ultimately I wanted to be able to make my own decisions with my kid.
No, that makes sense. That definitely that was the main reason. If anybody's moved here between the last 4 to 5 years, it's been for that. Like honestly, like it's just been for that, and they happen to fall in love with it. It's been a great city. Tampa's definitely grown on so many people. Not with so many people, on people. I mean, like I feel like in Tampa you get the best of everything because you have country, you have city, you have beach.
Yeah.
So you get everything. You got nightlife, but then you have, this. So like You get a little bit of everything. I think that's what makes Tampa so special.
Yeah.
But so you're here, you're rocking, you're moving, and I know that you're an entrepreneur. But let's talk about what you did your whole life. Like, did you graduate high school? Were you a dropout? What you got going
Yeah,
on?
so I didn't go to a lot of high school. I've always, been the limit pusher, the, whatever. Um, but yeah, for real, I skipped a lot of school and stuff like that. And then my senior year, actually, I came back to school and took like all AP classes, aced everything. Like I actually was supposed to earn the most improved student award or whatever. But I then would have had, school paid for by my grandparents. And at a very, very, very early age, I realized that I would rather party. And so I never went to, I went to the community college here, here and there, and went and didn't go and partied. And I bartended for like a super long time.
Wow.
I loved all kinds of partying. So, I went through different times of period with different types of partying, always drinking, just, it's a part of the culture back home. It's what people do. I grew up in the bar. But I, like in my early 20s, it was like a lot of pills. And then, for a long, long, long time, it was a lot of cocaine. And, because I bartended, I was slanging it, you know what I mean? Making all that money. But,
Right. I think that for people in the industry of bartending, it's so easy, like, for partiers. Like, it's so easy. It's either a partier and you're bummed out, or you're gonna work at the bar where you're already chilling anyway, so you can make a lot of money because you're pretty, you're young, you're partying, you're making money. So it's like, okay, that's what you did. So I mean, it's pretty much a package deal.
And a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
Right.
started right away when I was 20 or whatever, and I was just like, dang, okay, $500 a day every day. Like, it was wild.
Yeah. Right. And if only what we knew now about money, what we knew then, we'd be in a different situation making that $500 a day, right? I know, but we didn't. So we spent it all.
Now to make $500 a day.
We spent it all and then forget it, right? And
Spent it all.
I mean,
all of it. Just, and that's happened a couple of times, which is cool, part of my story, because then I got to this period of time the last couple of years where I got like nothing, right? So it's like God's been like, okay, let's bring you to this moment, so next time, you'll appreciate it and steward it.
And we're going to go into that a little bit. But first, let's go back to your partying. So you're partying and you're just living your life. You're doing all of these things, right? And what was that switch where you decided, did you go from bartending to entrepreneurship, or did you say, okay, let me stop partying and I'm going to go get a job and I'm just going to like try to straighten up here?
Yeah. So when I was 28, I actually went to dental assisting school. So I worked in the dental field for quite a long time. But so kind of when I started that, I was still heavy drinking, going out, things like that. But I would work full time during the week at the dental office. And then I actually worked like at this really nice country club on the weekends. I worked weddings. So I bartended weddings. So again, it was, that was something for me that never really went away, just because it was just ingrained in me. I was really good at it. It was natural easy for me. Yeah. Like, and I love people, like you and I are the same. It's like, I'm at the grocery store talking to all the people. So yeah, so that I did that for quite some time. And even when I moved to Virginia, still worked in the dental office, still bartended. Actually, I remember to this day, it was a place called Generous George's. It was this little pizza joint, like right by the, apartments that we lived in or whatever. And all the neighborhood people were there. And again, like I was going to chill and party anyway. So it was so easy to do, but yeah.
Right. Okay. And so you're a dental assistant and then still dabbling in both. And so, but you continue on drinking.
Oh yeah.
And it takes you to a dark place.
Yeah. It's kind of like one of those things, like, was it the chicken or the egg? The chicken, like what came first, right? So now being on the other side, for me, it just, again, was so very much of just what I did, what I knew, what I grew up with. Like, it was such a part of me. It was like actually my best friend, right? but I also know for most of those years that I was always in my mind, I guess now I know that that's like the Holy Spirit was like, this isn't for you. You know what I'm saying? Like I always knew it, always also in my mind, I knew like, you know, one day I'm going to be a mom, and whenever I'm a mom, like I'll change everything kind of a thing. Like that was always kind of like underlying for me. And the thing was like, I was fun. You know, like I was the instigator. I was like the connector of all the people, like planning all the things. Friday, we're going to go here. So, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So I was a blast, you know, but what people didn't know, and a lot of people didn't realize, like almost every single time I drank, I was blacked out. You know what I'm saying? Like I just could handle myself. And then whenever I was hurt by somebody, then it would go pretty deep. You know?
Yeah. Well, tell us, what does that look like? Pretty deep.
Just to where I like anytime I drank until
you were passed out.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So,
and how did you get out of that? Because that's hard.
Yeah, I think a lot of times I try to quit. One thing was cool. So like when I was married the first time and had AJ, like ever since before getting pregnant, like I had never had touched drugs after that. You know, like that was, I could like when in my 20s, I gave up pills, and then I get, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just always was the drinking that I could never, ever give up. So even like when I had AJ, it's still like I didn't go out to the bar or clubbing or whatever, but like, right, then I built all the new houses and formed the family and had our crew. And so everybody was just always at our house. It's just what we
drinking.
Yeah, everything, every birthday party, every Halloween. Yes. You know, that was the whole thing. Come to my crib. We're going to get, you know, we'll bring the wagon. We've got the drinks. Like, we're going to set up a table in our driveway for everyone to come. You know what I mean? So it almost was like, to be honest, I didn't know how to
not do it. Right. It was just a part. Like you said, it was a regular birthday party, drinking.
Everything.
Girl, I understand. I'm Puerto Rican. That's how our family, like for every little thing, there's going to be alcohol involved, no matter what it is. It's a baby's baptism. We drink it. Like,
absolutely. Yeah. We're going to a baby's baptism. Exactly. Yeah. You go to the zoo, you go to the concert, you go to the, you know, but I was also the girl that like, you know, say we went to a concert or a football game. Well, I was there to pregame. I was there for the party. I wasn't there for the concert. I wasn't there for the football game. Right. So we'd be outside in the, you know, tailgating or whatever. And then it'd be time like to go in, and I'd be like, oh, I'm good. And everyone would be like, girl, what do you mean you're good? I'd be like, I'm good. Like, I'm not going in there type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd done 25 shots by then, like whatever the case is. So anyways, all joke aside, it was just 1,000 days that I have not had a drink. The day before our wedding was 1,000 days sober. Yeah. And
wow. And you know, I want to talk about that because I mean, you go from this
girl getting down to the crowd.
I meant to block out some faces because I wasn't trying to put nobody out there, but I felt this was important, right? Because I'm like, man, I hear her talk about her sober life all the time, but you go from this to 1,000 days with, you know,
and carrying a bottle around like that, like that's what it was. Like I just was on it. We just were. We literally used to be like getting down with the crown. That was our slogan. That other girl holding the crown.
Getting down with the crown.
Yeah, we were the Stephs getting down with the crown.
Wow. And you go from that to 1,000 days. Has it been hard?
So there were a few times where I tried to quit. One time I quit for 6 months, and then I moved down here. AJ's dad was here. Then immediately I was drinking again. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as I moved here and started drinking after not drinking for 6 months, I was like, this is like, I'm done. Like, I can't do it anymore. He watches it, you know, on the other side, and it crushes him. And now being sober and seeing, not that I judge anybody, but like seeing other people's kids watch them
Yeah.
do what I used to do every weekend,
Right.
it's sad. And now being sober and him being able to express to me, like when he's around the other people that, drink,
Triggers them.
yeah, it's a lot. And so for me, what it ended up to be was I told him, like I told AJ, like, I'm not going to drink anymore. I didn't have a problem. You know what I'm saying? But like,
So you knew.
I wanted, and I needed him to know that that's not the only way to live life, because that's
exactly
all I knew, and
exactly.
it's all his dad knew, and it's all everybody, when that's all you know, it's all you know. And so how do you?
And that's that generational pattern. I don't call it a curse either. I love that we heard that this weekend. Yeah. It's not about a curse, right? It's a pattern. It's patterns that just continue on over and over. And so you have to like veer off of that, because you're right. Because what he would have done in high school with his friends, oh, it's okay, we're gonna in a party. I'm not aged, but my whole family does it, so we're good.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like that is the pattern.
Probably would have been the one to be like, everybody come over here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm so proud of you, girl, because I wish I really had like a little emoji, because I'd give you like a little gold sticker. For real, because that is a big deal. Like 1,000 days, man. Congratulations. That is not easy.
No.
I mean, I'm sure it's not. Like now when you were, upset or sad, you used to, especially probably at the beginning, how was that? You wanted to go to the bottle, right? So what did you go to?
Well, so the cool thing is, I mean, Jesus, what did I go to? Like, it was really awesome for me to be honest, because once I just decided, and once I told AJ, and once I sat down one day and prayed to God, really, he took it from me. Like, I didn't go to AA. I didn't go to whatever. It was taken from me. Not to say that it's not work. In fact, I will tell you, basically, there were times along the way since meeting Jay. So Jay has a very similar story and past. And when he moved here, we met shortly after that. He wasn't drinking at the time. He meets me, and I was a year sober at the time. And ever since then, he's just like, all right, I'm not drinking either. So yeah. I've never navigated a relationship sober in my entire life until him, right? Like, the whole thing, I was raped when I was young. And so like ever since then too, like I just always drank, and you just always kind of assume like that's what guys, like you have to do that, and all of the things. And so then us coming together and staying sober and honoring the Lord and doing the hard work and not living together, and all of those.
I want to talk about that, because you've transitioned, and we were going to get into that, because this is a huge, like, okay, so you're 1,000 years sober. Congratulations. I pray the Lord just continues to lead you with the Holy Spirit into that, right? And everything's binded already. That's already done. It's already done. Your word, you've been written. Okay. And so now I love how you say you are let me put this up here for a moment, spiritual gangster, sober advocate, and serial entrepreneur, right? I love that so much. Because now you get to tell your story and help people, right?
Yeah.
And let them know that it's possible. So, but transitioning, because you met Jay and you guys are together and you're doing this sober life together, but you guys did it like if you guys were just dating from kids and hadn't ever dated anybody else. Is that correct?
Yeah. We weren't perfect all of the time, but yeah, most of the time. But what was awesome is that, we met and we were sober and we didn't have sex, and we, what I'm saying? Like, just to get to know somebody and all of somebody without all of that, because again, like that just is the thing for so many people. Like they're like, right. Oh, okay, I'm going to go on a date, and okay, now I have to go have a bunch of cocktails, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
and then the whole rule, do I do the 3 days or the 90 day? Which one is this guy?
Girl, the 90 day was my thing. Okay. The 90
day rule.
And what's so crazy about that is I really like thought it was just me. Like I was like, oh, because I also always dated the bad boy, the wrong one. So then when they had to wait and they
didn't like it. Right.
But that's real rap, that's for real. But anyways, so then there were many times where like, it would be like we'd be at the beach or like wherever, and it's like, okay, so we just don't drink. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
so then what do you do?
then what do you do? No, it's incredible. I mean, the depth of our relationship, how well we know each other, that you never forget what you said the night before. You're not getting twisted and calling someone out of their name for no reason, and then you don't remember why. You know what I'm saying? Just like
I
that.
love that. All snappy. They got to see you throwing up and being all nasty.
Well, that was the thing, is I never did that either, because I was a pro. I'm telling you, man.
I love that. But here, listen, I want to go back to something. Huh?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Good. No, you go.
But apparently he was. And so we joke all the time, because I'm like, you would be screwed if I was still drinking. Like,
Because I would have left you right there throwing up, because that wasn't me.
I'm like, come on, but yeah, like, but then we had a brief conversation about, would we have champagne on our wedding day? And then I was like, and this is a God thing, straight up, because there has been many times, like, we'll be at the beach or something, I'm like, oh, come on, let's just have a drink, like, like whatever. And he's always like, no, we're not, which is awesome, which is he's an amazing
leader. Accountability, yes, needed.
But then it was kind of that whole, like, would we, whatever. And then it was crazy, because I was like, my 1,000 days is coming up soon. And so when I looked and saw it was the day before our wedding, I was like, no, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, God was like, 1,000 days, girl.
Yes. No. Yes.
And like, we both had like dreams about it, like, about bad things happen. Like, it just,
right.
So
yeah. And let me tell you, that's incredible. And God knows what he's doing. And here, I've heard Pastor Christopher say this. If you know that you want and you can end up going backward, don't touch it. Like, don't touch it, right? And I hear that, because I can have a pina colada, because I was a big drinker in the club, but it wasn't something I was addicted to.
Yeah.
Like my mom, she loves wine, right? Like that, I don't, right? And so I can have a pina colada and be all right. Like, I don't need anymore. But then there's those, after you're that close to your 1,000 days, and this is nothing against, Jay, because this was not even him talking, right? This was one of those Peter things. Like, I don't want to get biblical, because we still got a whole lot to go in the story, but this was that Peter thing. You know how Peter was telling Jesus, well, why you got to do this? Well, why you got to, what he said, no, stand back, Satan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't Peter talking. It wasn't Jay talking, girl. Yeah. That was not Jay. That was that was the enemy saying, oh, we're about to get married. A little bit of champagne won't hurt. You're about to get married.
And it was, what was awesome about it is he wasn't like, oh, it won't hurt, like, at all. He kind of brought it up, and then he let it go. Yes. Like, the day after, we went to brunch, and I was like, oh, well, should we have a mimosa? Like, but it that quickly, just even it being a thought in my mind.
Right.
So one thing
that's where the enemy works. That's how he works.
And for me, I can't have a peanut. Like, if I'm drinking, I'm drinking. I'm all drinking it all.
Right.
So all day.
Don't do it at all. But I want to go back to your relationship, because I think it's so important for people to understand that there's still love out there, and there's still where you can do it. Like, you guys said, okay, we're going to go. You guys didn't even move in together until you just got recently married.
I'm moving right now, girl. We are literally moved. The movers come on Friday. As soon as I got on here, I was like, oh, I should have left the pretty stuff up. But yeah, it's been.
So you guys did the dating thing. Like, he would go home, you go home for 2 years. He's going home, you're going home, right? You guys love each other. I know it's hard as an adult, because you know what you're missing. It takes a lot of discipline. Like, it takes a lot.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
It's wild and so rewarding. So here's a really cool thing too.
Love that part.
I was married before, and And I, through my divorce, separation, like all of the things, like and even in my younger years when I was dating all the wrong guys, like whatever, the whole thing, like my whole life, I knew since the time I was a little girl. You know, again, I had like a really strong family role model, right? Like my grandparents and my aunts and uncles and the cousins and all of the things. But also in my heart, I knew always that my person was out there, like my person. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, look at my person. Yeah. And so I never, ever, ever, ever lost that hope. Like I was never a woman that was like, you know, screw men and who needs a man and I don't need a man and da 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 da. You know, I was the super duper alpha.
In their defense, this hurt. That's a hurt. Those are hurt comments, right? Those are hurt comments, you know.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
But that's so sweet, though. I love it.
Yeah, so I never was like that. Like I was like,
you knew.
I knew my dude is out there. I know my guy, right? Like, and also I do like a little, you know, cut from the same cloth type of a thing. And so it was like finding that, but a man that loves Jesus and for the first time in my life, basically, like of anybody that's ever been close to me, like he chose me. You know what I'm saying? Like he chose to never drink again. So he didn't make mistakes with me, you know, and with AJ and to make, you know, to be a good dad to Josh and like all of those things. And that's a big deal.
It is. And you're right, because a lot of the times, and I don't want to say it's easier for girls than guys, but it really is because they're wired that way. Like, and not in a bad, that's not a bad thing. Like they're really wired that way. So that's a decision to really say, nah, I'm gonna, you know, we're gonna do this right, because he wants it to work as well. And that takes a lot of, you know, spiritual, Holy Spirit, again, you know, just really having that to say yes. Now I'm glad you brought up AJ, because your little guy's how old now?
He'll be 11 next week.
He's so handsome. He's so handsome. And so this is a big deal for your relationship as well, because I know that could have been a deal breaker.
Yeah.
If Jay wasn't with it, then, you know.
Yeah. So he was going to have to go.
Right. And so I think that's a beautiful thing. And I say that to say that there is still out there, you know, those good men that, you know, will be here and will be ready to, because, you know, his father's still in his life, but he still steps up on the daily things that, you know, need to be done.
Jay's on the daily. His dad's deployed. He was gone since about Christmas. He was home for a little bit. Now he's gone again. But the cool thing is, like, his dad really likes Jay too. He just
perfect.
Yeah, he knows, like, it's just really incredible. But so when we met, it was like, that was the biggest thing, because I needed to know, and I promised AJ, I actually said that in my vows in our wedding. I was like, I told you that there was going to be somebody out there, that God had a person for not just me, but for you too. And the voids that he fills for him as well. You know, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And so when we met, Jay was training AJ, okay? Because I was like, I got to see how this dude's going to operate with my kid. You know, I gotta see if my kid's going to like this dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't ever a chick that was like just bringing dudes around, you know?
Right.
And so anyways, the first day that they went to go train, Jay like had him on a picnic table. They sat down and he was like, all right, we're going to pray. So he's like praying over my kid. And I was like, oh, great. It's a wrap. You know what I mean? Like, and just, it was so awesome. And then, you know, a few weeks or a month or whatever it was later, they had worked together a number of times. And then he saw me like kiss him or something in the kitchen, and he was like, "Whoa!" You know, he was just. It was awesome.
What? Can you clarify that? Because people are probably like training him. What was he? His coach?
He was coaching him. Yeah, speed and agility. Yeah.
Oh, it's for sports.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So all of a sudden you're in the kitchen, kissing his coach. He's like, ah!
Like, I saw mommy kissing Santa Claus. Yeah, it was awesome. I'm sure he
I love
knew,
that.
like, because he knows his mom, and of course,
Yeah.
like, we were both like, oh,
Yeah. Oh,
But
I
that's
love
the thing,
that.
like knowing, and I wanted to say this too, because just all of my past, I was an alpha female. That's a guarded female. It's a broken female. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a
Yes.
female that hasn't had somebody step up to lead or to show her. You know what I'm saying? And so what is amazing is also because I was sober and able to be so vulnerable, and because I'm old, like I'm 45, you know what I mean? So like when we met our first date, I was like,
Which you
listen,
don't look it, sis. You look fabulous. Sorry, but you do.
you too. But I was like, look, I'm looking for my person. Like I'm not here to mess around. I'm like, whatever. So it was awesome. But ultimately I had done so much work on myself for so many years, like this has been again, since I had AJ, it's been this journey of me getting better, getting stronger, working on myself, setting boundaries, healing, all of the things, then getting sober. The crazy thing about getting sober was, again, I felt like I lost a best friend, because it was like the drinking was the thing that just was always there, so
Right. You had to mourn that. You had to mourn that, and the people that didn't want to give it up. You have to mourn that too, right? And so it is a
yeah, or
mourning
like
of
the
life.
people that, like, when I moved here, like one of my best friends, I'm like, where's she at? Like literally didn't
Right.
even hear from her on my wedding. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and that's hard for me because I'm such a community builder. I give so much of myself. I love to have a house full of people. So, while we've been building our relationship, we've also, we're very involved at church, obviously, but we haven't really been building the people at our table. Like we've really been so focused on us and our family and all of the things. And that was hard for me too. There would be so many times where I'm like, I don't want you to ever think that you're not enough. I'm just so used to having a house full of people.
Mm,
But being just very careful. I've got real good discernment, and just,
right.
we're starting
And I
everything.
love that. I love that, Steph. I'll tell you one thing. If you would have brought the drinking Steph, or the unpersonally developed, or the Christian Steph, not that you're not perfect, right? Because we're all sinners. However, that woman wouldn't have been able to withstand this relationship the way
No,
it is right now. He probably would have never came, but if he did, it wouldn't have worked out, right? It
no, and
only worked out because he changed you first.
yeah, and because I was able to be so vulnerable with him and so soft and so patient. One of his protective parts was, I don't think he's ever allowed anybody to actually love him. And look, I'm a savage, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna love you. You know what I mean?
And I'm gonna love you so much.
I'm gonna love you more than you could ever, and I do. You know what I mean? And
Right. I
it's such
love that. I love
yeah.
that so much. I pray blessings over your marriage, over your union, over you guys, and the journey that you're gonna build together. I just, it's such a beautiful thing, and I'm glad that you were able to share it on here and give ladies, they're out there, there's
They're
hope.
out there.
Work on yourself first, right? Work on
You
yourself
got to.
first. And then I promise you, your person's working on themselves while you're working on yourself, and you guys will meet together, and this can happen. And I also want to share this because it's not only Jay, right? You
Yeah.
you came like mini family.
It's
Yeah,
are we so cute?
you are. So Jay has an older son named Josh, right? And this is him there. He's an incredible young man.
Yeah.
And, Jay's done an incredible job raising him. And so now you guys are a family. And I think that's beautiful.
It's so awesome.
I
Yeah.
know.
And now we have our girl, Ale. She's in
Yep,
the
she's
family
next.
too, so I'm not the only one. But yeah,
Yep.
it's incredible. And just even me being able to see the change in Josh, because of our relationship, because Jay wasn't always the best role model.
Yeah, because he was like a woman lover.
Yeah. So
A ladies' man, they call it. My bad. I said a woman lover. A ladies' man.
ladies' man. But that's the thing, it's just like now seeing the hope and the belief that Josh has, and the change in AJ, like the generational
Pattern that completely switched, because now he's doing the same thing with his girlfriend.
And they're so cute, man.
And they are so cute. I cannot wait. I mean, they're gonna have the most beautiful babies ever. Like they have the most adorable relationship.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I pray, but they're taking it that slow step. Let's do each other. And they got that again from that generational pattern. Like, okay, hold on. If this is how my dad, and this is how it's working, like this is how it's gonna work for us too. And I love that so much because it's so true. Like they're not gonna do what you say, they're gonna do what you do.
You're gonna do what you do, man.
Period. Whether they're adults, whether they're 5, whether they're 8, you can tell them 20 times, stop doing that. But if they turn around and see you doing it, they're gonna do it too.
Okay? Yeah, you alive. You alive.
Yeah. And right, you alive. And it's subconsciously.
Yeah, like he's super matter of fact, just like his mama. You know what I'm saying? And so like, it's like, don't talk about it, be about it. And one thing about CJ is like he'll call out anybody. He can't stand a liar. Like. So it's so cool seeing that, like the 10-year-old and the 27-year-old, the huge change in them to.
I want to put one more up because I think this is so cute. I love this picture. I love that picture. I think it's incredible because, AJ being the most important man in your life and now sharing that, right, with your new husband and your new family. I think it's so happy for you. And so going, but for the sake of time, we are going to transition a little bit because I want to talk about your entrepreneur life. You're apparently, of course, you're not bartending no more, right? You're not doing that. You're not dental assistant no more. And so you decided that you were going to go all into entrepreneurship, and you've done a couple of things where you've impacted, hundreds and thousands of people, right? People all over the world, right? And so let's talk about that transition. How did you go from that to that?
Yeah. So I had AJ and I was home with him for like 3 months. And then the day he had to go to daycare, I took him to daycare and I came home that night and I was like, not going to do that. I literally I wanted to raise my son. I was older. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I was going to figure it out. My ex-husband, his career, worked with the military and all of that stuff. So he made a good living and everything, but I still had to ultimately work and I still wanted to have purpose. And then since I was a mom and didn't have a 4-year degree and had made so many mistakes in the past, I wanted to do something big. I wanted to be able to literally look at my son and be like, you can do whatever you put your mind to. So I had been somebody who I wouldn't necessarily say like was a quitter, but like, you know what I'm saying? I just.
You weren't a finisher.
Posted,
you didn't like finish.
I was great at bartending. I was great at dental assisting, but it wasn't like fulfilling to the point of what had then transpired. So I actually did the 21-day fix, right? After I had AJ, the Beachbody program. And so that was first go at.
I mean, I think for the most part, when you say 21-day fix, people know, because like, before I even knew that you did Beachbody, I know the 21-day fix because I've done it. Like, do they give you those little containers? I still got one of those little blue containers somewhere down there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so that's a very popular, thing. And so before you talk about that, were you already into fitness or you were just
No, I was like the girl that used to go to the gym and then like go to happy hour and smoke cigs. And, like do the ab machine and I played sports. I played, softball and kickball and all of those. But that was like
so that kept you pretty athletic. But you were just when you decide to go into the 21-day fix, you go into Beachbody and you blow it up.
Blew up. Well, it was funny because my coach, I did it, and then I kept talking about it. I'm like the last person that ever had social media of all my friends, which is funny now, right? Like,
right.
Like live on social media. But she was like, girl, like you've referred so many people. She's like, just sign up. And I was like, I don't know what you're even saying. What do you mean sign up? She's like, you would have made, it was like, whatever. You'd have made like $4,000 already. And I'm like, hold on. What do you mean I would have made $4,000 by sharing that I did this workout? And she's like, yes, girl. So like, that was it. Like, that's where it started. I think I was like number 189 out of tens and tens of thousands of coaches. I was on the DC Market Council and since then have, then morphed into other. I always do say like I'm a brand girl. I'm sorry, I'm an impact girl, not a brand girl. So I'm a gut health specialist. I work with detoxes. I do this. I do that. I'm a Nazi when it comes to researching products and all that. So then I had earned close to 7 figures online, and then a couple of years ago, basically right before I met Jay, lost a huge part of my income. And yeah, one of those icky parts of the business.
So you're in the business, right? And everybody, everybody has their opinion about network marketing. Everybody who's ever watched me knows that I am an advocate for network marketing. Yeah. I believe it's a great start for entrepreneurs. I believe that it opens your mindset. It teaches you things, especially if you don't know what you're doing. You want to become an entrepreneur, you don't know what you're doing, go through a network marketing company real quick. Sign some people up, and then you'll really see if this is something you want to do, right? Yeah. And then you can scope
to faint apart. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And so I love network marketing. So for you to grow this company, and I've been around people where I never got there, but I know people who have that. So to have all that snatched away from you, that's hard. So this is in Beachbody.
No, it wasn't Beachbody. It was another.
Okay, so you went from Beachbody to another one.
Yeah.
You did 3, right?
Yeah, did 3. Okay. Then I was a coach with the Faster Way to Fat Loss. I was a top coach there. Again, I do the gut health stuff. So basically what happened is I did not have a non-compete, but I was in the top 5 of this other company. And then I started selling collagen because the company didn't have collagen, and went to that company. So now I've got this business that's huge over here. And then I started selling collagen over here, blew up over there. And they didn't like that because I was in the top of their company. So basically at the end of the day, they ended up taking the largest part of my organization away, which then year to date would have been about $330,000, which when you have a lifestyle that you work super hard for, now you're living in a certain home and you are driving a certain car, and it's the pandemic, and you're a single mom, that's a lot of money to lose. But at the end of the day, it had nothing to do with the money that I lost. Because if it was only about the money I lost, I would have jumped right back in and made the money somewhere else, right? For me, it was because I gave all of me to that company, to every team there, not just my team. My purpose from God is to empower women. It's to show women what is possible, how to make an income, how to do this, how to lose the weight, how to get healthy, how to find themselves again, all of those things. So, anyways, I was basically paralyzed and had to go back to work. So I lose that part of my business. I was making about $10,000 a month with my other business, completely stopped, basically, couldn't do it anymore. Then had to go back to work, went to a dental office, hated every second. Having all of the freedom in the world from working my own game.
Right. Your own time, everything. And you just
want to do.
All of it just up.
Got to tell you when I'm going on lunch and all, you know what I mean? I was like, no. So anyways, but at the same time, I had lost such a huge part of me also. Now I sell doors and windows with Renewal by Anderson. It's an awesome company. Yes. But so here I meet Jay. It's the man of my dreams. We're building this incredible relationship, all of that. But such a huge part of me was gone. We've talked about it. I was I just don't even know what to do. I was selling courses. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's still something you process. I mean, at the end of the day, kudos to you.
Yeah.
Because you didn't give up. You're resilient and you're persistent. And even though you are, working a job, you're still building yourself, right? You're coming back. You worked on yourself. You're, again, going back to your personal development. Listen, mi gente, take notes. Listen, it's in there. If you guys realize the stories don't change. I can put her story to a successful 7-figure entrepreneur from 100 years ago, and it's the same thing. They lost it all. Then what did they do? They work on themselves first, right? Heal, get that process, and then they gain it all back. And that's what she's in the road to do now. So, that's really hard to lose a whole team. Listen, you guys, you can imagine losing an income like that, losing, your house, car, everything's got to go smaller now. But you know what? You're a mom, first of all, so you're going to put food on the table and you're going to pay bills. You're going to do what you got to do. Yeah. You went to work, right? But this whole time you went to work, you've been working on yourself, you've been praying on it. I know we had some conversations like, okay, where's my route? Was something going to go? I'm not sure. Bum, 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 bum. And then all of a sudden, I see this.
All of a sudden, girl, it is wild. This all happened. We got engaged. This happened. Jay got a new job doing ministry. We're like everything at once. God was like, all right, come on now. Let's go.
And that's what people call overnight success, but this is 2 years in the making.
Yeah.
This is 3 years in the making. This is,
10 years.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like this is all of this stuff that you guys have been through. Now, you're seeing the fruit. That's called fruit.
The fruit.
People wonder, what is
because fruit? Now he sees like the boss side of me. The boss side of me was gone. And he's like, dang. I mean, it was there when we first met. I was still kind of,
but it was different.
But now he's like, okay, baby. I'm like, you don't even know. It's about like, and God is so great because the people that I love the most in that other place, they're all with me now. Like it's all come back around, and it's just,
I love it.
I've never seen something like this yet in all of the success that I've seen. So I just know, like, I would pray and pray and pray and pray and pray, and literally God would be like, it's been here all along. And I would like, it was like, well, what is it? My spin class? Is it, and it's like, no, it is you. Like your purpose is to empower other women. This is how you do it. Go and show the world how to do it again. You know what I mean? But what's also cool is I'm prospected for businesses all the time. People know I'm good at what I do, but I'll never put my name behind something that I don't stand behind 100%. And, people know that too. So yeah, I had still been selling those other products even after losing everything. And literally I woke up one day, started praying. God was like, retire the account,
Done. Kill it.
It's a stronghold in the
it's like Les Brown. I don't know if you've heard Les Brown. I know you heard of him, but he has this thing where he says he was a disc jockey at a place and they fired him. So he was like, oh man. So he went back and got the job again and they fired him again. He's like, God was telling me, you're not supposed to be there.
You're not supposed to be
trying to go back there, right? And so you had to delete the account and say no.
I had to just let it go, and then boom.
Exactly. And that, oh my gosh, that's such a word. Mi gente, take notes. I promise you, I know we're at the end here. Go back to this part of the recording and write it down, because that boom is like, it's already waiting. Like, close the door. Stop trying to push something open that does not need to be opened, because it's already waiting for you. This was waiting for you. It was waiting. You close that door, and then that you open the opportunity. You said yes to yourself.
Yeah.
I get clients all the time that say, oh my goodness, all of a sudden. No, that's called alignment. It's not all of a sudden.
But it is wild because this just launched, right? So it was like, it
hasn't even launched yet, right? It's October.
It's launched. It's October, But just to say, like, so I was on the calls for a couple months and learning about it, and I knew, I was like, dang, this is going to be bananas.
And this is product-based, something that you're an expert on, product-based, right?
Yeah. Peptides, it's plant-based.
Plant-based, and it's health, right? Something she's an expert on. She does, we do Chosen Together, which is our Facebook group that we have with Pastor Lucy. And, she is able always to give us good tips on the gut health. Like Steph for a while was like, oh my gosh, if Steph sees my pantry, she's going to freak out. One of those people that you like, I won't invite her over. I got to get it together, right? But I did, because of some of the tips that she gave. And I was like, hey, Steph, look, my son was going through this. Yeah. And we've been making so many changes. And so, it's good to have an advocate the way you are. I love how you said you're an advocate. Like, it's good to have an advocate in the health, because we don't know what these, what is that called? The labels are, and the peptide. I don't know none of that stuff. I didn't grow up with that, right? The gut health, right? And all this stuff, and how important it is. And, you don't even feed your son certain things, because you know that it gets to him in certain ways, and so I'm really proud of you. I think it's an incredible journey for you. I want to put this back up again, because I think it's an amazing, leaderboard top enroller, Steph Miranda. If you guys have questions, you want to know what peptides are, you want to know what the product is, Can you give us a little, I know you're just in pre-launch, but can you give us a little something, or is that
Yeah,
okay?
we're out of the NDA now, which is exciting. So there's two parts of it. Obviously, like the business opportunity is
Right.
insane.
Always.
But it's basically like Ozempic and GLP and those kinds of things that people are taking for like weight loss or whatever. This is going to be the holistic side. So it won't be injectable. It'll be ingestible. It's literally, I believe that God made plants for healing. And so these are super powerful. There's nobody else in the entire world has this. So it's going to be a pretty big deal.
That's good. That's awesome. If you need to know more, she will put her information in the chat. We're running close on time here, so I don't want to end without asking you our question. But before we do that, I'll just say, mi gente, listen, if you have questions, you want to know what peptides, you want to know about gut health, you know, you need empowerment, you need growth, you need to know how to get to that next level. You're tired of looking at the scale. She also does spin classes here in Tampa, you know.
Yes,
So
Saturday,
yes,
let's go.
yes. So promote that. It'll be in the comments. You guys, I do want to talk about some of the comments over here, because if I go way up from here, they're just saying congratulations, great evening. What a blessing. It says, yes, you are blessed to have a praying man, one that will love your son for sure. Everybody's like, I love that. Wow, God send you a Boaz.
Yeah, dude.
God send you a Boaz. And a couple of other comments. Wow, entrepreneur life has its benefits. Congratulations for the win. And then another one, Miss Stephanie Miranda, you are an overcomer. I
Oh,
love that so much.
thank
And to read the
you.
Instagram ones, because the comments don't stay at the end. So I wanted to make sure I got that, and that you see that people are
Bye.
really feeling this. And you know, Mrs. Stephanie Miranda, you are an overcomer. Thank you, mi gente, for watching, for loving on Steph. This has been you have an incredible story. I'm still gonna ask your question, but
Yeah.
you know, all her information will be in the chat. Plus, and I'm gonna put this back on here. I did it once, but I'm gonna make sure I do it again. Follow her, right? Is this your IG, Facebook?
Yep.
Okay, this is IG, Facebook. Make sure you follow her, send her a DM, and you know, just thank you for coming on here and pouring into the people. I know that there's so much more, but we can only do so much in an hour, right?
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, girl. You're welcome. But that one question, right? If you had a minute to say something to the most person that you cared about, let's say your son, you wanted to teach him something,
Yeah.
and you would never be able to talk to him again,
Oh, God.
What would you say?
I would say, you know, first and foremost, basically to just always, always, always trust God, to always listen to the Holy Spirit, to always listen to that tug on your heart, the thing that, you know, you can't stop thinking about, like that is for you and for you only. You know, a lot of people will be like, I just keep thinking about this thing. And it's like, I'm not thinking about that thing. That is meant for you. A lot of people say they don't hear from God, but God speaks to you all of the time. And so, especially if it was my son or anybody else, that would be it. It would literally be to never lose your faith, to always lean in, to know God's promises are so true. You know, again, I said it in the beginning, I never, ever lost the hope, even through the darkest and hardest times of my life, even before I knew Jesus, right? Like now looking back all along, that was what was keeping me afloat, keeping me moving through all of this. So that would be my
That is so good. Oh my goodness, that is so, and I love how you just said that. We have so, you know, now I see we have like so much alike, like
I know.
so much alike. Okay, and like our stories, like they're different, but then they're like there's so many similarities in between our stories. But
He doesn't
thank
make mistakes,
you,
man.
spiritual gangster, sober advocate, and serial entrepreneur, Mrs. Stephanie Miranda. Thank you so much again
Thank
for
you,
your time.
girl.
And that is the episode for today. We will always leave you with this Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your path. That's tonight's episode. We'll see you next week.
Love you guys.
Bye, everybody. Good night.